what this child said about the book of Revelation. It's unbelievable. I woke up in the middle of the night to a light so bright it illuminated my entire room. At first I thought I was dreaming, but when I looked in the corner of the room, I saw someone there. It was Jesus. He was dressed in white, his eyes were like flames, and his voice was sweet but firm at the same time. He called me by name and said, "The prophecies of the apocalypse are already being fulfilled. My time is near. The world needs to wake up before it is too late." My heart was beating so hard it felt like it was going to come out of my chest. Then he showed me something scary. I saw shadows covering the earth, and in the middle of them, a man appeared and everyone seemed to follow him without question. He was the Antichrist. But Jesus told me he wouldn't come alone. Something much bigger was helping pave his way: artificial intelligence. He warned me to be careful, as many would believe her lies and accept her control without realizing it. Before disappearing, Jesus looked me in the eye and said, "Tell the world to watch and pray. The truth can still set them free." Then, in the blink of an eye, he was gone. And I stood there, my heart racing, knowing I needed to tell everyone this. Imagine that in a simple room, a child wakes up in shock, with his eyes wide open in a cold sweat. Your heart races, and your words are almost incomprehensible. But what she said at that moment left not only her family, but also biblical scholars perplexed. What this child saw was a shocking biblical revelation, one divine warning which appears to be directly linked to the book of Revelation. In recent years, many have reported prophetic dreams, visions of events that refer to signs of the end times. But what makes this account so frightening is that this child, without ever having read Revelation, accurately described events that the Bible had already predicted thousands of years ago. Could it be a coincidence? Or are we facing a sign of the rapture? The scriptures are clear that before the return of Christ, signs of the end of the world will become evident. Earthquakes, wars, spiritual crises, the rise of inequity. All of this is already happening. But has the apocalypse already started? Did this child receive a direct warning from God about what is about to happen? If what she said is true, the end of times is near. And the most important question is, Jesus is coming back. Are you ready? Many ignore the signs, doubt the prophecies, and go on with their lives as if nothing were about to happen. But what if this is the last warning? What if what this child revealed is the final warning before everything changes forever? What do you think of this prophecy? Have you ever had a dream that felt like a message from heaven? Leave your comment below. We want to know, how are you preparing for Christ's return? If you're ready for Christ's return, write "I'm ready" in the comments and subscribe to the channel for more prophetic revelations. My name is Josh. I'm only 8 years old and I live in a small town where the days are usually quiet and nothing extraordinary happens. My routine was simple. I went to school, played with my friends, and spent the night listening to stories before bed. I've never been one to have strange dreams, much less anything that could be called unbelievable prophetic vision, but then everything changed. It all started with a strange feeling. Even before the dream, I felt like I was being watched, but not in a scary way. It was like someone was preparing me for something bigger. I started to notice that some things around me seemed different. The news talked more and more about technological advances, about artificial intelligence that was changing the world, and at the same time, I heard more and more about wars, famine, and natural disasters. I didn't understand it very well, but I felt like everything was connected. My mother always talked about the revelations from the book of Revelation, about how there would be signs of the end times before the return of Jesus. But I never imagined I would see something with my own eyes, until that night. After the dream with Jesus, everything became more intense. I began to notice that, throughout the days, strange things were happening around me. The news talked about the advancement of technology as something positive, but inside me, I felt that there was something wrong. Was that part of the prophecy of the apocalypse? Was it one of the signs of the rapture? What does the Bible mention? What if all I was seeing was a divine warning for humanity? The people around me didn't seem to notice, but I saw the details. The small changes that fit together like pieces of a puzzle. News about artificial intelligence dominating systems, governments discussing digital currencies, and the need for global control over the economy. It was as if everything was heading towards a scenario where no one could do anything without being connected to this system. Could this be the principle of the mark of the beast? Every time I tried to ignore this feeling, something new emerged. An unexpected disaster, increasing chaos in the streets, speeches from world leaders talking about peace and security, but with a strange, almost rehearsed tone. The Bible says that when they say peace and security, then sudden destruction will come. Is it already happening before our eyes and no one notices? Have you ever had a dream like this? Do you think God still speaks to children? I want to know your opinion. Comment here, and if you believe that Jesus is coming back, write "I'm ready" in the comments. Many ignore the signs, but what if this is the last warning before everything happens? Since that night I saw Jesus in my room, something changed inside me. The dreams began to repeat, and each time they seemed more real, more vivid, as if I wasn't just dreaming, but being taken somewhere else. At first, I thought it was all in my head, but then I realized that something much bigger was happening. Every night I saw signs of the end times, scenes that seemed taken directly from the pages of Book of Revelation. On one of these nights, I saw a sky covered by dark clouds. The wind was blowing strong and people were running desperately, as if they knew something terrible was about to happen. On the horizon, there was an immense fire consuming entire cities, and in the sky, shining letters appeared, as if written by an invisible hand. I couldn't understand all the words, but one of them stuck in my mind: "Tie my silver." I felt my heart speed up, my body shook, and suddenly, I heard a powerful voice, which didn't come from any specific place, but seemed to fill the entire space around me. It was a voice of authority, but also of love, that said, "Warn everyone. What was written is coming true." Then, the ground began to shake beneath my feet, and a deafening boom filled the room. The burning cities seemed to dissolve into ashes, and screams echoed in the distance, mixed with the roar of the wind that cut through the air. The dark sky opened for an instant, revealing an intense light, and I saw figures descending through the clouds, angels, imposing and glorious, but also warriors prepared for battle. Something big was happening, something beyond what any human being could control. I wanted to run, I wanted to hide, but there was nowhere to go. Suddenly, my gaze was drawn to a large metal tower in the center of the ruined city, where a crowd gathered silently, looking up, mesmerized by something I couldn't see. The powerful voice echoed within me again. They have already made their choice. Judgment is at hand. A shiver ran down my spine. Could this be the final moment? Humanity's last chance? I woke up panting, with my heart racing. I ran to tell my parents, but they didn't pay much attention. My mother looked at me with concern and said it was just a dream, that I had watched too much on television. But I knew it wasn't just a dream. Something inside me screamed that I needed to speak. I needed to warn people before it was too late. But who would believe a child? Would anyone hear this urgent message for humanity? The dreams continued, and each time they became more intense. I started to see angels and demons fighting in the sky, like a great battle brewing. I saw mysterious figures manipulating the world, and something that seemed to be a global control system, where no one could buy or sell without accepting a brand. I saw the artificial intelligence coming to life, making decisions, and people simply accepting them without question. I felt that all of this was connected to what Jesus revealed to me that night, and that the prophecy of the apocalypse, it was being fulfilled before our eyes. What if everything you thought you knew was wrong? This child revealed something that could change your vision of the future. The dreams didn't stop. Each night, new images appeared before my eyes, as if I were being transported to a time that had not yet happened. I saw cities being destroyed. I saw large crowds being deceived into accepting something without question. I saw a powerful leader emerging, someone everyone admired, but who was hiding something dark. My heart sank because deep down, I knew exactly who he was, the Antichrist. In one of the strongest dreams, I was in front of a large crowd. Everyone was looking at huge screens spread across the world, where a man spoke in a calm and persuasive voice. He promised peace, security, and a new era for humanity, but something inside me screamed that it was a lie. Then, the screens began to display a strange symbol, a number that seemed to be marked on people's skin. The number 666. I wanted to scream. I wanted to warn everyone, but no one seemed to hear me. They simply followed as if they were hypnotized, accepting it without question. When I woke up, the words of Jesus still echoed in my mind. He had told me that humanity was not ready, that most would not notice the signs. Signs of the end times, they were being fulfilled before our eyes, but people were distracted, stuck in their routines, without realizing that time was running out. Could it be that the apocalypse has already started and no one noticed? I spent the rest of the day trying to understand everything I had seen, but anguish took over my heart. I looked at the people around me, my family, my friends, my neighbors, and I realized that everyone was going about their lives as if nothing was happening. They laughed, they worked, they planned the future, without even questioning whether there would still be time. But inside me, I knew. The signs were everywhere. Chaos in the world, divisions between nations, growing violence, the uncontrolled advancement of technology. Everything pointed to an imminent end, but no one seemed to notice. Could this be the great deception of the end times? Is humanity so focused on its own desires that it would simply ignore God's warnings? My mind was buzzing with questions, but the biggest one haunted me: how to warn a world that doesn't want to hear. Then I remembered the words written in the Book of Revelation, where it says that in the last days, a world government would emerge and control everything. Something told me that this government was already being prepared. Technology, artificial intelligence, and the new laws that are emerging. Everything seems to be heading towards the fulfillment of this prophecy. I wanted to tell this to the world. I wanted to let them know that it wasn't just a dream, but a divine alert. Are we really prepared? Will people realize before it's too late? When I told her everything I saw, my mother looked at me with concern, trying to calm me down. She said it was just a dream, that I was impressed by the things I heard in church. My father, more silent, just sighed and said I should stop thinking about it. But how could I just forget? How to ignore a shocking biblical revelation, a clear warning about the signs of the end times? I knew that what I saw was not a figment of my imagination. Something inside me said that Jesus is coming back and that this was an urgent message for humanity. The days passed, and I continued to have the same prophetic dreams. Each night, the visions became more intense. Then, something unexpected happened. One day, after the service, a lady approached my mother and said that her granddaughter, who lived in another city, was having similar dreams. She saw cities in ruins, a mysterious ruler deceiving people, and a mark appearing on their hands. My mother was in shock. How was it possible that another child was having the same visions as me? That's when my story started to spread. Some people were intrigued and asked me for more details, while others looked at me suspiciously. Until a pastor, who studied the revelations from the book of Revelation, wanted to hear me. When I described what I saw, he was silent for a long time. Then he said, "This is in line with the prophecies. What this child is saying cannot be ignored." And then, more people started sharing similar stories. Children around the world were having dreams about the apocalypse 2025, about the Antichrist, about a global control system where no one could buy or sell without accepting something that looked like a brand. This couldn't be a coincidence. But why did so many people still refuse to believe? Did God can send messages through children? If you've ever had one prophetic dream or believe that we are in the last times, write, "I believe" in the comments and share this message with as many people as possible. How much more warning do you need before you start preparing? I wanted to believe that my mission was over, that telling me about my dreams would be enough. But the visions didn't stop. On the contrary, they were getting even more intense. Now, I didn't just see the future, I felt. It was as if my soul was being transported to those moments, experiencing every detail of a time that has not yet arrived. What I saw this time was so scary that my body couldn't bear it. One morning, I woke up with a tight chest. It was as if something was pulling me out of my own body. Suddenly, I was overcome by an intense light, and my mind was invaded by chaotic images. Saw rivers of fire cutting through entire cities. I saw desperate crowds running without knowing where to go. The sky was dark, and something seemed about to happen. Then I saw a huge figure on a throne, surrounded by shadows, and a voice echoed in my mind, "They've already made their choice. You still have time." My vision became blurred, and in that instant, everything went black. My mother found me on the bedroom floor, unconscious. My body was shaking. I was sweating cold, and next to the bed, there was something that I didn't remember writing. A paper with strange words, almost like symbols, and a single legible sentence. "The mark is already among you." This was enough for my family to begin to doubt. Until then, they thought it was just a boy impressed by biblical stories, but now something physical had happened. What did that message mean? What brand was that? My father, previously skeptical, began searching for answers. It was then that he encountered something disturbing. Scientists and large companies were already developing technologies that could irreversibly connect the entire world. Microchips, artificial intelligence, absolute digital control. All of this was already being implemented. Was what I had seen real? What if what we call progress is actually the path to total domination? If this is the last warning, will we know how to recognize it before it is too late? What this child said could be the final warning to humanity, and you need to hear it now. After that night, something changed. The vision stopped. The weight I felt in my chest disappeared, but the message was still alive inside me. It was as if I had already seen everything I needed to see, and now my mission was to tell the world. I tried to forget, to go on with my life normally, but in every piece of news, in every conversation, I saw the signs of the end times fulfilling itself before my eyes. Wars intensified, countries collapsed, natural disasters occurred with frightening frequency. Technology advanced uncontrollably, with artificial intelligence taking on roles that were previously exclusively human. Companies announced new forms of digital control, and more people accepted this as if it were something natural. But I knew. I had seen it. This was part of the Revelation prophecy. Humanity was preparing for something big, but not in the way it imagined. Some started to believe me. People who used to scoff now came to ask for more details, compared my reports with passages from the Bible, and saw that everything made sense. But others remained skeptical. They said it was an exaggeration, that these things always happened, and that there was no reason to worry. Is it really? Could it be that the apocalypse has already started, and people just didn't notice? I remember what Jesus told me in the last vision, tell them to get ready. Whoever has ears, let him hear. Whoever has eyes, let him see. And that was the last message. After that, I never dreamed about those things again, but the feeling of urgency didn't leave me. I knew that something big was about to happen, and that few were really ready. And if you knew the end was near, would you change your life today? Could this story be real? Everything said here connects with events that are already happening in the world. To the revelations from the book of Revelation, they talk about hard times, about a global government, about a system of control that would trap humanity in a false sense of security. Now, look around you. Wars, natural disasters, technology advancing to a level never seen before, artificial intelligence making decisions that were previously human. Coincidence? Or will the signs of the end times, are they more evident than ever? If this child is right, then we have little time to prepare. Little time to open your eyes and realize that everything that was prophesied is being fulfilled before us. Many ignore the warnings and go on with their lives as if nothing were happening. But what if this is the last opportunity? And if this urgent message for humanity, is it the final warning before it's too late? Now I ask you, do you believe this vision was a divine warning or just imagination? Comment below and share your opinion. And more than that, if this message impacted you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. Here, there is a video with an astonishing prophetic vision, something that can change the way you see the future. I'll wait for you.